Alright, so some things to talk about when it comes to Task Force Faith. The first thing you'll notice right away is just how spread out the different groups were. So, 1st Marine Rear CP was here at Hagaru Ri. Then you have most Marines up here at Udomni, and they actually had a very long retrograde movement from Udomni back to Hagaru Ri. It was basically a fight the entire way. Then you have up here 1st Battalion, 32nd Infantry. And then you have 3rd Battalion, 31st Infantry. And then you have the 31st Rear CP. So this right here, well, actually this and this is Task Force Faith. 31st Tank Company was here, and the idea at one point was to the 31st Tank Company would come up and relieve the task force, and from there it would be all sunshine and rainbows. And one of the biggest problems during the battle was actually the MSR right here leading into the reservoir. A lot of the units that were intended for the reservoir never made it past Koto Ri. So once the battle started, essentially what was in the area of the reservoir was it. Now, a lot could be said about the initial dispersion of the troops at when Colonel Faith was in the area. He was actually the part of the first unit there. He was advised by the 5th Marine Commander not to go forth except for regimental, except for in regimental strength. And unfortunately, he didn't listen to that. Neither he nor Colonel McLean listened to that. And one thing you have to notice right here is this is not a complete perimeter right here. The perimeter that 132 was in was actually designed for a Marine regiment, or a Marine battalion, which has about 30% more at the time than an Army battalion. And actually, along the path of advance, there were several Marine positions that were there that were made because of anticipation of moving north. What is interesting is a lot of the foxholes on Hill 1221 actually became the final implements that eventually overran or caused the task force to fail. And unfortunately, you see right here, Hudong Ni, the task force was basically destroyed right about here. Had they started their breakout just one day earlier, it's entirely possible that Task Force Faith might have made it to Hudong Ni and then recovered and made some sort of further advance to Hagaru Ri with the support troops and the help of tanks, but the order came to withdraw the troops there. So essentially, once the breakout started, the troops here had to go from here to here with just air support. And the sun went down very early in the afternoon, so yeah, they didn't have much choice in the matter. They had to break out because their perimeter was in danger of collapsing. So unfortunately, this hill right here was the doom of the task force. Some other things that need to be talked about is the fact that all these units are spread out, not able to mutually support at all. And General Smith, General O.P. Smith, was so intent on maintaining the perimeter at Hageruri that several very infamous actions occurred, including the removal of the 31st Rear CP to Hageruri just one day before they could have saved the task force. There's also Task Force Drysdale, which was ordered up from Kodori to Hageruri, and unfortunately the Royal Marine Commandos and Company B of 31st Infantry Regiment were just cut to pieces here on this MSR. It's actually one of the more tragic stories of the battle, but it kind of gets lost in the background of the overall tragedy of of Task Force Faith and several other very notable actions.